is she sharing her husband and going through that whole process of sharing all the resources and sharing his love and time and attention, but also just completely not being considered and not loved and not taken care of.
I really don't know how I feel about this episode or the Janelle trip because at the end of the day, it seems very orchestrated and sort of very coordinated in what's going on. It's totally different from Meri and her friends. Meri and her friends are totally different because it seems more organic. So I don't know how I feel about that. And then it's the audacity for Robyn to sit there with a straight face and describe Mary's situation. The fact that Meri wasted years and years and years in this family, contributing financially, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. For them to then turn around and treat her like crap, I don't get it. And I'm happy that we got to see Isabelle and how she feels about her mother's marriage now, a couple of years down the line. I can't wait to see Kody and his pilgrimage because I think it's more about him than anybody else because he said he's going to be like a bull and continue to push through regardless of what everybody else says. So he wants to blackmail these people into accepting his apologies because he's doing it on camera. Why didn't he do it away from the camera? He did it for a storyline. Anyway, I digress. Hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's your girl Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Sister Wives, Season 20, Episode 10. So we start off with Janelle. Janelle is still in New Orleans with her girls. It seems very awkward. I don't know whether it's because the friends don't know how much to push her on camera or what, how much, they can keep this going. I don't quite get it because it seems very uncomfortable and very awkward. I love that Janelle got to explain her relationships with her friends. It seems she's known one of them for about 13 years and the other one she's known for a year. And so I'm happy she has people around her. I'm happy she's got a support system of people that are trying to sort of bring her out of her shell and trying to make her sort of move on or reinvent herself because she's been through this marriage. This marriage didn't work out, so it's time for her to rediscover herself now that she's an empty nester. They spoke about Janelle's mom, how she felt about polygamy, and how she sort of came to save Janelle from the polygamists, only to end up marrying Kody's dad. And apparently, they were married a couple of weeks before Kody and Janelle were married. And it's like, this is a bit difficult because I always find it awkward in the sense that Janelle was married to Mary's brother, and obviously her mom knew. So for Janelle and her mom to then marry Mary's husband, it doesn't make sense to me. And I think this is the source of the awkwardness. And sadly, we will never hear that conversation. Janelle said, Kody, once he turned 50, he became a different man. I think he had a midlife crisis. And so he decided to sort of take his life on a different path. We get to meet Meri and Amber. Meri and Amber, they're preparing to go to Vegas because apparently there is a speed dating expo that Meri wants to participate in, and they're just going to see Vegas. She says she's still seeing Ron. I feel like Ron and Meri were seriously dating, and the show was trying to sort of bring Ron into this situation. He didn't want to just materialize out of the blue. They were very serious about their relationship, and so they wanted to make sure that they did it the right way. And so I love this. If she's still seeing Ron, he seems totally different to to Kody. I don't know about the ex that she had after she left Kody, but it seems totally different from Kody. So I love this for Meri. Obviously there was this thing whereby Amber was a bit unsure about dating other people. And Meri was saying she wants someone, she's not into polygamy anymore. She wants to date someone who is all about her and knows that he's all about her. She doesn't like the insecurity that came with being with Kody because she never knew when he was coming, and when he came, she never knew what sort of mood he was in. I get it. I really get it because at times maybe he doesn't want to leave the wife he's with, and so now he's having to come to you. They've had a fight, and so he's coming to you stroppy. So I sort of get where she was coming from with that situation, and if she wants to be in a monogamous relationship, good for her. She needs to pursue what makes her happy. We got to see Christine, Isabelle, David, and Truly go bowling. And I think David is totally different from Kody. And I remember very well Isabelle, when she found out that her mom was going to marry David, she cried because she couldn't understand what role this man was going to have in their life and how he might affect, or try to sort of take over the role as her dad. So to hear Isabel talk about David and the fact that she loves that he's a jokester, she loves that he's very respectful, and she loves, I think, the way David loves their mother, because David treats Christine with love, respect, and patience, and he allows her to just throw tantrums that she wants, and he's just there, whatever she's doing, he's just there to be her loudest cheerleader. So I think this is one of the reasons why the children have been able to sort of accept him, because it's not always the David show. Unlike with Kody, everything has to be about Kody. Whereas with David, he does what makes everybody happy. And so I love that Isabel is at a point whereby she's at acceptance. David said, he and Truly have an amazing relationship. He likes to tease her, especially if she's having a hard time. And the moment he teases her, then they move on because she gets over whatever is troubling her. And it's like, I hate that another man is having a better relationship with these children than the father that brought them into the world. Kody, how does he feel? I think this is why he's going on his pilgrimage. I think he's seen how much of a positive impact David is having on his children's life, and understands that if his other two ex-wives find people that treat them the same, then he is going to be the monster. Cody and Robyn went on a date. We always see them on a date. He spoke about Coyote Pass and how awkward it was when they sold Coyote Pass and he met up with Janelle and Meri. And it's like the two of you made it awkward. One, you arrived late, and then you made it all about yourself because you made it seem like they were ignoring you. They should have been falling at your feet and worshiping you, the queen, the king and queen, because you had finally decided to give them what was rightfully theirs. I still insist they deserve their money from the sale of McMansion because they invested in McMansion. Irregardless of what Kody and Robyn say, Meri and Janelle deserve their money from McMansion. I digress. So Kody said he felt bad, and after speaking to Robyn about therapy, he's decided that after praying about it, he needs to go and apologize to his three wives, to his ex three wives. And for Robyn to sit there with a sour face, I don't get it. She tried to lie and say that, oh, I didn't want to have a reaction because every time I react, it either turns in the right way or the wrong way. So I didn't want to impact his decision. They discussed this before they came, and I don't think she thought he was seriously going to bring it up. And so for him to bring it up is something that threw her off, because she's used to being in control of that relationship and used to navigating everything and making herself look like the victim. So the idea that Kody wants to talk to his ex-wife is not something she planned on. And also for him to say, I don't care what anybody else says, I am going to bulldoze because this is my calling. It's your calling, just as saying all the bad things was your calling. Allow these people to receive you when they're good and ready. I know there's going to be pushback from Christine and Meri, but I was hoping that everybody would push back and sort of make him see the error of his ways and let him know that he doesn't own them. They choose whether to forgive him or not. If he wants forgiveness, he can go and pray and get forgiveness from God. Anyway, I'm on my little horse again. You then had Janelle sit down with her friends, and she was just talking to them, about polygamy and how she doesn't want polygamy anymore. She spoke about a spiritual release and sort of wanting to sort of get that for herself, because if it is true that in heaven you will meet again and your marriages will be upheld, she doesn't want to be a part of that. So she wanted the spiritual release. She said that she felt like polygamy was her calling, but sadly, when she got married to Kody, they really struggled with Meri right from the jump. And it's like, I am going to struggle with someone. If you're married to my brother and then suddenly you're now married to my husband, faith or no faith, it's going to be a problem. It's bad enough we're sharing a husband, let alone to know that the same person that was sleeping with my brother is now sleeping with my husband. So I get where Meri was coming from. Yes, it might not be the reason, but that would be my reason. And I will die on that hill. Janelle was then asked, how do you feel about making amends and sort of building bridges with Kody and Robyn and possibly going to therapy? She says, I don't like them, so I don't want to waste my time doing something that I don't want to do. And good for her for sticking to it, because she's always said she doesn't like them. Robyn aggravated these women off camera and did a lot of mean things that these women didn't bring to camera, because I think they had a lot of love and respect for the family. She had no love and respect for the family. She banked on these women not saying anything. And this is why we are where we are. So I get Janelle refusing to sort of make amends and build bridges with someone who treated her badly. I loved the little, dance and the throwing of the beads. It looked like production was standing down there, and Janelle was just throwing the beads to production. Personally, that's the impression that I got. That the people that were dancing underneath the balcony were production, and they were throwing the beads to production. I'm going to stick to that. Anyway, so you have Kody sort of talking about, his pilgrimage and the fact that I want to apologize for everything that I said or did, but I do not want to apologize for what I was accused of. And it's like, buddy, you can't pick and choose what you want to apologize for. If you're apologetic, apologize for everything across the board, whether you said it or you didn't. Your apology is for you. So you want to apologize and make yourself feel good because people have accepted your apology for the things that you want to apologize for, but everything else you don't care. So I'm not buying his apology. Anyway. Janelle speaking to, Maddie was great because she sat down with Maddie and she said to Maddie that your daddy said he wants us to sit down for a conversation. I don't know how I feel because I don't know how genuine he is. I don't know whether he's doing it just because he wants to do it or whether he's doing it for a genuine reason. So I am going to have to think about it before I make a decision of whether or not I want to move on with this. They spoke about, Maddie saying, Kody has to be consistent in order for him to be welcome back in her life. But she's happy to sort of have a conversation, bury the hatchet, and move on. And it's like, oh, this man has really lost his children. He really has, and I don't think he realizes this. And I think if he pursues with this sort of apology tool, and he doesn't do it authentically, it's just going to make things worse. We had Meri and Amber getting ready for their date. Meri and Amber getting for their date, it looked like Amber had a panic attack. That's the impression that I got. It looked like she had a panic attack and didn't want to attend. And so Meri had to pacify her by giving her alcohol and then sort of going to the toilet and sort of pacifying her before she came out. And it's like, where is Jen? What happened? Did Jen and Kody fight so much that the Jen isn't allowed on the show anymore? I don't get it. I don't understand why suddenly we've got Amber instead of Jen. I would have loved Jen because Jen was a very good wing woman for Meri, whereas Amber looks like she still needs to do a lot of healing. Meri said obviously after her relationship with Kody, she thought she had healed, and dating people, she's realized that she still has work to do. So she wants someone who accepts her for who she is and someone who doesn't waste her time. And so I can't wait for that. We then have Kody go on this trip. He's going for this pilgrimage. He wants to apologize. And something I forgot was the conversation in the restaurant with Kody and Robyn, where Robyn was saying to Kody that, oh, I loved you because you loved your women. So you turning around and saying that I didn't love them is something that I don't quite get. And, it really is devastating. It broke my heart because, I loved you because you loved your women. There've been women who stayed in relationships, contributed financially, emotionally, spiritual. And it's like you're describing Meri. Please, you're describing Meri. So I'm not buying that. And I don't know how Meri will feel watching that. I don't know how Mary's going to feel watching that. Anyway, we have Kody turn up to North Carolina to meet up with Janelle. I assume we'll see the meetup next week. I can't wait for that theatrics. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Click on the link in my video to watch my review from episode 9. Bye everyone.